Hi, you're very welcome. And in this video, I'm just going to walk you through the setup of this Simple Payments journal. So if you look at this one, it's kind of like there is, as they say, some that's been, prepared earlier. But so what you need to start with is just getting these headings in here. All right, see there, date paid, month, pay, invoice, description, total paid, etc. All right, so that's the first thing you need to do. And then the second thing you need to do is just create your lists. So if you look here, I've created a number of lists for VAT, for expensive projects. So I'm kind of assuming that, you need to do some analysis for your expenses, but you might also need to allocate it to a project as well. So I've actually just shown you how to do that in another tutorial. So I've put a link to that into this blog post as well. So I'm not going to cover that in this particular one. Okay, so I've done here already. So let me just start down here. Let's say this one. Okay, so I'm just going to put in today's date. Let's say, for example, 6th of the 9th. And bearing in mind that this is, of course, is September. This is, Irish date standard. So that's DDMMYY. There's a formula in here that automatically picks up the number or the month that's in it. Let's say I'm going to put in local payee. And let's say I'm going to put in, let's say, office supplies. All right. And then I'm going to put in the invoice over here. Description, I might just say photocopier, toner. Something we've all purchased at some stage if we work in an office or work for ourselves. Okay. Now, we come now to this bit. And what I'm going to do is just show you that, let's say, for example, that we have two items in it. So what I put here on total paid is actually going to be the total amount at the bottom of the invoice. So when I'm paying this invoice, this is the amount that actually kind of goes out of my bank statement. So I'm just going to make that, let's say, maybe $6.75. All right. Now I then come over here to this item. Now if you notice up here, this is actually changed color already. This is set up as a little check and balance that's in the background. So what I'm going to do here, and let's say I'm going to put an item, let's say, and I know the amount, inclusive of that, for example, for one item might be $3.75. All right. And I come over here then, I know the VAT rate for this 23%. And I've got my formulas here. I'm just going to copy them down. All right. And you see there, they automatically kind of break it up there between the two items. So you've got your VAT amount and your amount net of VAT. That happens for you automatically. Okay. Now, I also still know, okay, that I've got 300 that I haven't allocated yet. So let's say, for example, this might be on 0 VAT, but let's say we'll make it a different rate of VAT, 13.5%. Okay, and again, I might just copy these formulas all the way down. I can see there it's picked it up and done the analysis automatically. Now at this point, I know that the total that I've put in here has been completely broken down. This is the VAT inclusive, I've allocated to the VAT amounts, and I've also allocated it to the amounts net of VAT. All right, so that all happens automatically. Now I then decide that I'm going to allocate it to another, let's say, project. All right, and this is like your, let's say, project 4, and let's say allocate it to these accounts. Okay, and because I've set up as a drop down, people just have to pick it from the list. Now another good tip here that I got from a friend of mine called Colin Foster, and I put a link to his website here, is he always said that, particularly when you go back and do the bank rec, just put the number of the bank rec that it's on in here. So it means that if you need to go back and identify or reconcile your items, like straight away you can see, okay, if that's on it, that means it's been reconciled, and so on. Right? So that is just kind of the introductory bit. What I'm going to look at next week, oh yes, and one other small thing as well, is I've just got the total in here, and I've got my totals here, totals there. Right? But this inbuilt kind of formula is there to check all the time that, what you've allocated as total amount, you've also allocated it correctly, according to the VAT and the net of VAT and so on. Okay. And you also might need to allocate that to make sure you allocate all this to something else. Or you might even have another heading here that says miscellaneous or not allocated if you want to. Right. Okay, I hope you found this useful. All right, mind yourself and take care, and I will see you in another lesson.